World order. We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Go ahead. I'll talk to you at 10 o'clock high. This is Houston. Say again, 7.
Could a strange substance found by a southwest Arkansas man be part of a government test? Well, that's the question at the heart of a phenomenon called chemtrails.
Some mornings it was just crisscrossing the whole sky. It was just like a giant checkerboard.
Hundreds of thousands of military personnel were also subjected to secret biological experiments over the last 60 years.
The plans to imprison American citizens have generated a lot of interest around the country in locating the potential prison camps throughout the country. These may be facilities currently being used as prisons, such as those you saw earlier, or prisons that are being built supposedly in the name of the war on drugs, or facilities that have other uses but which could be quickly used to detain large numbers of people, such as this Amtrak facility in Beech Grove, Indiana.
A number of people who appear to have this condition. Can you describe to us what they feel?
Yes, the patients that I've met, the symptoms are very classic to what's been reported, I think, generally. They typically describe a disturbing skin sensations such as itching or stinging or pins and needles. They have ulcers or a rash on their skin. Many of these are very difficult to heal. And they additionally, they report that they have foreign materials such as threads or fibers coming from beneath their skin.
Certain geographic hotspots, metropolitan areas in Florida, California, and Texas, report a higher than average number of patients who have these symptoms. Is there any reason, in your opinion, why they might appear in clusters?
Well, first let's say we don't have really good numbers about what the rate of this illness is in the population, and that's one of the things we actually hope to look at more carefully as part of this investigation. The areas where there appears to be clustering of this illness also are areas where there are large, just general population overall. We're going to look at that a bit more systematically in the Northern California area.
So if you had to go with one leading theory right now, what would you say? Is it environment? Is it genetics?
That's very difficult to say. The reason we're doing this investigation really is to learn more about it. This is a complex condition, and it may be multifactorial. And we're looking at both infectious etiologies, environmental etiologies, as well as chronic conditions that might contribute to these symptoms.
When do you hope to have an answer, doctor?
We realize that everybody's anxious to get this underway and get results, but we anticipate it's going to be about a year before our investigation is fully complete.
All right. Dr. Michelle Pearson, thank you very much.
And that is the material sent to Dr. Hildegard Staniger by Dr. Mike Castle. These samples, or this sample, I assume there were several samples.
There were 3 samples. One was a greenish-colored comb that is used like a parasite comb, you know, like if you have lice.
Right.
Then there was 2 little Ziploc, teeny tiny bags that you put like jewelry in, and they had one a white fiber, you know, a big coil thing, and a little tiny fiber thing.
Okay, now, here's the punchline, ladies and gentlemen. Where did those samples come from, Hildy?
These samples came from what was given. I can read to you what he sent me, okay?
Well, yeah, and let me just sum it up before you read. They came from chemtrails, ladies and gentlemen. Chemtrail goo. Okay, are we on the same page now?
Now, more on the latest building collapse in New York. You might have heard a few moments ago I was talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing. And indeed it has. Apparently that's only a few hundred yards away from where the World Trade Center towers were. And it seems that this was not a result of a new attack. It was because the building had been weakened during this morning's attacks. We'll probably find out more now about that from our correspondent, Jane Stanley. Jane, what more can you tell us about the Salomon Brothers building and its collapse? There were very few collapses.
Well, only really what you already know. Details are very, very sketchy. There's almost a sense downtown in a trade center appears to be still burning. We see these huge clouds of smoke and ash, and we know that behind that there's an empty piece of what was a very familiar New York skyline, a symbol of the financial prosperity.
I see more objects going and putting in line. For me, this is a demonstration. More and more. Can we put the sound louder? The people are speaking about this.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
This is amazing. This is not airplanes. This is not helicopters. This is not anything that can be explained. We have to remember that December is summer in Chile, in Santiago, and this was probably recorded between 4 or 5 in the morning, 5 o'clock. And just a little later, they discovered this line of objects going up in the sky.
Una línea.
We are trying to compromise this man to come forward and give an explanation, but unfortunately he's very shy and he doesn't want to. Looked at it.
Esposa, ¿se acuerda? No te pueden decir que... Mira, 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 hija. Mi amor, mira.
And stop there.